Alright, we're going to talk about some solid kick-assery, but first going to thank the sponsor of this video. This video is brought to you by Harry's. Harry's is a personal care brand reinventing the way you shave. He said with his apocalypse beard, and Harry, you got apocalypse beard too. I know, you still gotta shave the other bits though. I mean, on the... Harry's delivers straight to your door. You don't have to wait in line at the grocery store or convenience store. Sit back, relax, wait for your razors. And Harry's guarantees a close, comfortable shave with a 100% money-back guarantee. And the deal Harry's has for you is you click the link below, go to harrys.com/JeremyJohns. That's right, Johns with an A. It's spelled a little differently than it sounds to some people. Harry's will send you everything you need for a close, comfortable shave for just $3. Weighted handle with textured grip, a 5-blade razor cartridge, perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades when you're on the move. And they donate to good causes, giving 1% of their proceeds to organizations that promote better mental health. I appreciate that. So click the link below, join the 10 million people who have already tried Harry's, and thank you very much to Harry's for sponsoring this video. I do appreciate it. All right, now we're gonna talk about some fighting. That's really undercutting it. The Raid 2. So The Raid 2 is the sequel to The Raid, once again directed by Gareth Evans. In The Raid 2, events have happened that force our protagonist Rama to have to infiltrate the criminal world that basically runs everything. So now he goes deep undercover, and those are your cliff notes for the plot. There's actually a lot that happens in The Raid 2, I'll give it that. So like a proper sequel, The Raid 2 doesn't give you just more of what was in the first one. It expands on the characters, expands on the universe. I mean, not the universe on a cosmic level, but you know, the universe, the world of the movie. No, we have a deeper story with Rama. The world is more fleshed out. Kind of reminds me of John Wick, which I have a tendency to say the movie I'm talking about is like another movie, which makes people think I'm saying John Wick came out first. Or in the case of my review for the first Raid, Dread. I know the Raid came out before Dread. Glad we could clear that up. Also, the first time I saw The Prestige was not 1 week ago. It was back in 07. Glad to clear that up too. I feel like there's a little miscommunication. My fault, I'm sure. It's the way it is, the way I talk. But it does make me think of John Wick in the sense that John Wick had this pure, simple story for the first movie. And then John Wick 2 and 3 is like, all right, now we're gonna deep dive. We're gonna find out the meat and bones. We're gonna go into the bone marrow of what makes this world work. And that's what the Raid 2 does. Objectively, everything in the Raid 2 is stepped up. I thought the acting was really good. The action, top notch. The first Raid had that camera work, that cinematography that I gush over. And it has it in the Raid 2 also. A screw falls out of a door and it's all in slow-mo, and then it hits the ground, and then boom, the action starts. But the camera definitely does look cleaner in the Raid 2 as compared to the Raid 1. Maybe it was just Gareth Evans having more experience by the time he did the Raid 2. Maybe they used better cameras. I don't know. All I'm saying is, technologically speaking, the Raid 2 just looked superior to the Raid 1. And the fights too. I gush over some nice bloody violence. I just do. Thank you, Ed Boon. Thank you, Mortal Kombat, for making me that way. But this movie has the hard-hitting fights, the insane choreography, I mean, the nasty hits that people take. You like the Raid 1, you'll love what happens in the Raid 2. I heard that kitchen fight was amazing. It was. And in the subway, my God, when it started, I heard the words of a great man. Stop. Have a time. And boy, was it. However, for me, in the Raid movies, nothing beats neon bulbs sticking out of the neck while dudes fighting two people. I'm just saying that's pretty crazy. That's my personal favorite. That's what I'm gonna think about with the Raid 1 and the Raid 2. Though the Raid 2 stepped it up on any level I can really think of. Everything from the fights and storytelling. The thing the Raid 1 has that the Raid 2 just can't really have. The simplicity of the first Raid movie is kind of what makes it so beautiful and so rewatchable. We got bad guy, he's in his bad guy tower. All right, good guys go in there, it all gets locked down, now good guys gotta fight bad guys. The premise of the first Raid movie is so pure and so watchable, Dread was like, sounds good to us. In that, I feel like the Raid 1 has better pacing when we're talking about momentum. I mean, if someone had to have done this by now, right? Has anyone clocked how many fights there are, how much screen time there is with the fights in the Raid 1 versus the Raid 2? Because if you do that, I feel like the Raid 2 probably has more fights, whether it be a fist fight going toe-to-toe or just a slaughter. Murder. But whereas the Raid 2 has more fights, it also has longer stretches of no fighting. And that's all in the name of character development and fleshing out the story, which is good. And that's where you're gonna run into, well, objective versus subjective. What do I prefer versus what is objectively better? Like the Raid 1 versus the Raid 2 is kind of like when people have the great argument of, well, what's better? Arkham Asylum or Arkham City. I prefer Arkham City. It's one of the best comic book video games out there, ever. But there is an argument to be made of the fact that Arkham Asylum has that tight, claustrophobic feeling that you can only get from Arkham Asylum that Arkham City just can't have. And that's what I feel like the Raid 1 has for me over the Raid 2. Doesn't change the fact that the Raid movies, they're great. I'm glad I own them now. The Raid was taken, and now for the sequel, you have this 2.5 hour long odyssey, essentially. And although the Raid 1 is my preferred rewatchable slaughterfest, the Raid 2 is a proper sequel, as a sequel should be. It'll actually give you a lot more depth than you thought you were in for if you're just going on the first Raid movie. The Raid 2 is worth watching and worth buying on Blu-ray. Maybe I can get the John Wick going right here. Guns. Lots of guns. It's a Neo line, but he also said it as John Wick, so it counts. I'm actually curious as to your perspective. So, the Raid 2, have you seen it? What did you think about it? And what do you prefer, the Raid 1 or the Raid 2? I feel like that's going to be the conversation here. I can't emphasize enough how rewatchable the Raid 1 is for me. I might actually watch it tonight. Well, I can't watch it tonight. I have to edit this video, so tomorrow. But whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.